Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Sadek Auf, Professor of Transportation and Modern Roads Engineering. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, Dr. Auf, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have met with the Minister of Transportation, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and also Minister of Planning, and gave directives or was reviewing the latest developments concerning the railway system, concerning the first and the second line of the metro, also the localization of the transport industry, and many issues have been discussed during the meeting. If you please, could you shed light on this?
That meeting, which was held yesterday, dealt with following up on the executive position of the investment plan for transport sector projects at the level of the Republic. In this regard, the President was briefed on the effort to maintain the national road network in light of the importance of strengthening the qualitative shift that has been achieved in the field, which resulted in facilitating the movement of citizens and achieving revenues, significant economic activity, whether in terms of commercial activity and the transportation of goods and or in terms of reducing congestion and the traffic jam, which has a huge negative effort on the economy and the citizen.
Yes, this is a very important point, sir. Dr. Auf, how do the developments that is taking place in the road network would affect the economy and boost the investment in Egypt?
For the economy, to reduce the time of transportation and also cost of transportation, that should have a positive effect on the price of the item itself. If you reduce the transportation cost, the good itself price will be reduced. Also, I wanted to mention too the environmental impact of the liquidity of the movement of transportation in road networks, which have a positive effect on the pollution of the environment.
Yes. Doctor, so how do you evaluate, as you are Professor of Modern Roads Engineering, how do you evaluate also that the roads and the accesses in Egypt and the infrastructure in general is now coping with the international standards?
The road network and the transportation system in Egypt now is at the same standard of the international system. And for the meeting yesterday also included effort to develop the railway system in all its aspects. The executive position of the processes of developing and the rehabilitation, the first and second line of the underground in Greater Cairo,
yes,
in addition to the ongoing work to establish the fourth line of the underground itself, the development in the ongoing development process of the port system at the level of the Republic, especially in Alexandria, Damietta, and Ain al-Sukhna as well.
Yes. Now, Dr. Auf, Egypt is establishing also housing projects. So whenever we find a housing project, we find that it's linked with the transportation lines. The importance of planning, coping with the also local and international standards concerning this, in order to facilitate for the citizens living in these new urbans or new housing projects.
The main objectives of the transportation project
Yes.
are to facilitate movement between cities. This is the first one.
Yes.
Also to reduce the number of accidents and the number of injuries and the deaths. As well, we have many other goals. From these goals, to reduce the time and the cost of transportation, and to make a chance to construct new projects such as agriculture projects, new urban cities, and all these projects that cannot be constructed unless we have strong and good transportation network.
Yes, yes. So with the establishment of the new administrative capital, this would be our new capital in now and in the coming for the coming generations. The system of transportation connecting the new administrative capital to Egypt, to Cairo, and all the governorates in Egypt.
For the new administration, for the new administrative capital, to connect with all cities in Egypt, now we have constructed many transportation networks.
Yes.
First one is the electric train between Adl Mansour station and the new capital.
Yes.
And the second one, which is being constructed now, is the high-speed train between Al Ain al-Sukhna city towards the new capital, and then to new Alamein cities and the Marsa Matruh.
Yes.
This is the second transportation facility. And the last one is the monorail between Nasr city and New Cairo towards the new capital. We have many transportation facilities to connect the new capital with all cities in Egypt.
Yes, Dr. Auf, how does developing and exporting new cores for the train, the railway system here in Egypt copes with Egypt's plan for 2030? We know that by this year, Egypt would have a complete new system concerning the railway system.
I wanted to mention two very important points about the transportation industry. In Egypt now try to localize the transportation and railway industry in partnership with the private sector, which are efforts that have reached and advanced stages within the framework of providing components for means of transportation at the national level. Transportation system in Egypt, we need to complete and continue the industry to cover our needs, especially in railway vehicles and other facilities, to save the currency from we are also on our way to not importing railway vehicles, to save the foreign currency and for our economic sector.
Yes, yes. Also, the whole Egypt is connected. Also, there is lines of transportation that would take citizens from, for example, Al Ain al-Sukhna to the new Alamein city. So, give us an idea about this, please.
This is not a tram. This is high-speed.
Yes, of
train.
course, the high-speed train. Yes.
It is 250 kilometers per hour. Started from Al Ain al-Sukhna in the east side towards Al Alamein, new Alamein city, and passing through new capital 6th of October, Cairo as well, Wadi Natron, and then end at New Alamein and Marsa Matruh City. It's all journey is about 660 kilometers. This is very important line to connect the new capital with the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea as well. This is not the only facility to connect to the new capital. We have another line to connect the Cairo in general towards Aswan and Abu Simbel. We can reach Aswan in only 4 hours.
Yes.
Which is comparing with the aeroplane trip, and is approximately the same, taking into account the time waiting in airports and all security processes.
Yes. So, Dr. Rauf, also concerning the underground, Egypt established the 3rd line of the underground, which links also the 2nd line with the 3rd and is going to the 4th line, which is a green line. So we'd like to know more about this green line, and also it's connecting also Cairo with the Giza.
The 4th line, which is connecting Cairo and Giza, is passing through El Haram Street, and this is very important line to serve Giza governorate. Especially this area is very crowded, and the population density is very high in this area, and this area especially is in need to such facility. In parallel with constructing the 4th line, also the 1st and 2nd lines, the 1st lines between Halwan and Marg, and the 2nd one between Giza and Shubra al-Khayma, now are being developed for the highest standard to serve in the 25 years incoming.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information. Dr. Sadek Rauf, Professor of Transportation and Modern Roads Engineering, thank you very much for joining us over the phone.